Hey, what's up? Colby Sharp, 5th grade teacher from Michigan. Welcome to my channel. We're trying to help kids fall in love with reading. Today we're going to be talking about the books my students are currently reading. I try to do these once or twice a month. It's fun for me to kind of see what's the whole class is reading all together, and hopefully it's helpful to you to see some of the awesome books my kids are reading. Maybe you'll find some for your class. Be sure to let me know down in the comments some of the books that your students are reading so that I can see more books and maybe add some to my to-read list. That make me really happy. First up, dear student, Ellie Schwartz's new book. I read this, book talked it. The student actually sits right here, read it and book talked it, and now the student sitting directly across from her is reading it, and he is loving it. So just fun to see how those things spread. If you haven't read this book, you probably should, because it's really wonderful, and it's just a really cool story about this girl. What's her name? Named Autumn, who again becomes in charge of the Dear Student anonymous advice column in the school. I don't know if it's a newspaper, I can't remember. It's like online, but it's really fascinating. And she is such a unique and interesting human, and it's awesome. And an iguana gets ran over by a bicycle at the beginning of the book. Don't have that in every book. Dear student. Next up, these really fun random questions. This is volume 2. I got these books recently. How long does it take a pineapple to grow? So you'll see that on one page. And then on the next page, it'll answer it. More than a year. And then it gives you more information. Kids are really digging those, and I am too. It's fun. Learning lots. I think every time we've done this, one of these lately, someone's been reading this book, Sharon Draper's Out of My Heart. We read Out of My Mind aloud. This one's been wildly popular. And I got my daughter to read Out of My Mind at home, my 6th grade daughter, and then she read this and loved it. So if you are looking for more from Melody and you read Out of My Mind, you should check out Out of My Heart. Gordon Corman, I book talked a Gordon Corman book. We'll get to that later today. And then we went to the library, and like lots of Gordon Corman love going on. He's written 99 books. So What's His Face, really fun. Read this book a couple of years ago and excited to see a student picked it up. Checked it out at the library today. Ground Zero. We've been working on informational writing, and I think 3 kids wrote some sort of topic around the events that happened at 9/11, and then one of my kids read this book, and he loved it, and he recommended it to his friend, who was one of the 9 writers who wrote about 9/11. So if you haven't read this book, the way the stories come together at the end, oh my gosh, Alan Gratz is just, he's so good. Really, really good. All right, Front Desk. This student actually started Front Desk last summer, and then, summer goes, never finished it. And then she just read Kelly Yang's new book, New From Here. And after finishing that, she decided to restart Front Desk and is almost done with it. So, yay, Kelly Yang fan. Next up, Coop Knows the Scoop. This student, the student that's reading this actually sits next to the student who just finished this. Isn't it funny how that happens? I love it. I love seeing the community serve the community members. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Next up, Eternal Paradise. Jennifer Holm, one of my favorite authors. A lot of my students are starting to turn to her as they realize they haven't really read much historical fiction this year, and they know that I'm a big Jennifer Holm fan. I think the last one maybe, or recently, last week, one of my students finished Our Only May Amelia. Top 5 book for me all time. So fun to see someone reading Turtle. This kid is working his way. He's on book 10. He's got the whole stack often at his desk of all of the Wimpy Kid books. He made it to 5th grade without ever reading a Wimpy Kid book. And now he's trying to read them all. And he's making his way through. Gary Paulson's last book. I book talked this about a week and a half ago after I had finished it. And it's fun to see one of my Gary Paulson fans and Hatchet readers picking up Northwind. Oh, Gary. The kid who loves Origami Yoda more than any kid in the state of Michigan probably is almost done with his second reading of all of the books. Yay! Curious to see what he reads next. Investigators, super fun comic, graphic novel. I should see if there's more books in this series. I feel like there's another one. This is the only one I have, I think. Next up, Mr. Wolf's class. We just got a copy of the new Mr. Wolf's class, Snow Day. I just got to get the little, this is a school library book, but I got to get the little sticker on it, and then it'll be added to our classroom library. Kids are really excited about that one. If you haven't read Aaron's series, it's so fun, so funny. I feel like I need to show you the inside. Always good to see the inside graphic novel. This is a graphic novel, Trespassing, that I have not read. I haven't even seen it before. One of my students checked it out, in the school library. I often make these videos on Wednesdays because that's when it works in my schedule at lunch. And so a lot of times we go to the library beforehand, so it's fun to see those. And this is a book that I book talked today, Operation Do-Over, Gordon Corman's book. I have a video dedicated to this book on my channel. I love this book. It's so fascinating, such an interesting story, kind of getting a chance to go back to one of the, I guess, what's the right word? One of the turning point moments in your life and relive life from that moment. It's fascinating. Gordon Corman, one heck of a storyteller. Next up, my kids love K.R. Alexander's books. They look so scary to me. So I'm not reading those, but they love those. Secondhand Dogs, I think I book talked this at the beginning of the year. A story of a home that takes in animals that need rescuing. And then a new animal comes and it's not going so well with that new animal. El Defo, ever since we watched the trailer to the Apple TV show, someone's been reading this. Probably 75, 80, 85% of the class has read it in the last month. So stinking good. Sled Dog School. I love when kids pick up and read like a chapter book, middle grade novel that I hadn't book talked. Shows me that they're becoming more independent and that they can find great books on their own. So that makes me happy. I haven't read this book, but love seeing that a kid has. The First Cat in Space Ate Pizza. I'll say more on this book soon on my channel, but I love this book. It was hilarious. The whole way that this book came to be is fascinating. Mac and Sean started just basically telling the story on Instagram live videos during the pandemic. It turned into an amazing book. And those videos are actually still on their, they made like a website, thefirstcatinspace.com. You can actually go back and watch those videos. We did that today. We watched the first one. And then I showed them that it turned into a book and they were just, their minds were blown. Wonder, hey, you know, you're about to go to middle school. Why not get Wonder read before then? You know, one of those books that most elementary kids around the country have been exposed to. So love seeing this being read. This student, Bigfoot and Littlefoot, I told her that her brother loved this book when he was in 5th grade, and now she's reading it. It's a family affair. Oh, another one. K.R. Alexander, kids love it. And then the Villain series, means it's interlibrary loan. I borrowed this from our library through another library. It's the Villain series. This is like the 4th one, I think. The student had read one on her own this summer, then I bought one for the class, and then she read another one, and then I checked these ones out from the library. So those are the books that my students are reading. Let me know down in the comments the books that your students are reading. Thank you so much for tuning in. It means the world to me. My name is Colby Sharp. I hope you have an awesome-tastic